Let's do that. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, guys? It's the Four Horsemen Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Josh Romine. With me tonight, I got Joshua Van Cleve. How are you, Joshua?
Oh, I'm good. I'm ready to talk some football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Also got Brent Ocker. Hello, Brent. How are you?
I'm feeling as good as Lucky Whitehead.
Well, you look good. You look very white right now with that light shining on your face. So we're glad to have you. We also have Alex Deviney Stoner. Hello, Alex.
What's up? I'm trying to watch us on our YouTube, but it's not like it's just this.
Well, that's
like
weird.
That's not doing anything.
That's not right. You're doing something wrong, clearly. But while you're figuring that out, I'm gonna go ahead and say what the show's gonna be today. We're gonna play a little ADP game later in the show. We're gonna do some news. There was some interesting news that just came out here recently, and that should take us to about the end of the show. We were gonna play another game, but we'll save it for later because you guys can't prepare yourselves. But I'm sure that my game that I did is going to be awesome. So, I actually have a question, though, that is non-football related, kind of as my random question. Just curious, are you guys going to watch the Floyd Mayweather? Conor McGregor
Oh, my
fight?
God.
Do you have any desire at all? Alex obviously does not.
I can't wait till it's fucking over.
Yeah, just because of all the hype?
Oh my gosh, it's boxing. It's boxing.
I know.
It's
boxing used to be huge. They're trying to bring it back,
30 years ago. 40 years ago. 50?
I don't know if it was
seriously. Like here's my problem. My biggest problem with it is that like all of a sudden everybody gives a shit about boxing. No, you don't. This is like the whole thing is just made up. Like all the hype, like his suit with the fuck yous on it. So it's like that's kind of cool, but it's like it's so fake. It might as well be professional wrestling.
Sure, honestly. I mean, professional wrestling does pretty well for itself. There's still a lot of people into that. Not me personally, but a lot of people I know enjoy it.
I'm so annoyed by this whole thing. Like I just want it done so that we can go back to never discussing boxing ever again.
Why is it $100? That's what I want to know. Why does it cost $100? It's $100 for the pay-per-view.
What?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Because they know they'll sell it. They know that these guys are great hype men, and that they can promote this fight. That's why they're going around the cities, and then they know that they'll say whatever they can, and they'll do whatever they can to get a payday.
Sure.
And so that's why it's $100. I mean, everybody wants to either see Floyd Mayweather try to get knocked out by Conor McGregor because a lot of people love him from the UFC, or they want to see Conor McGregor get his ass whooped coming over thinking he's can box. So that's all it really is. And
McGregor's going to get owned, I think, personally.
In boxing, yes, because Floyd is actually good at defense, so it's going to be hard for McGregor to land a punch on him.
Right.
And to go 12 rounds, not putting him on the ground. I don't know. Like this whole thing is a spectacle. I don't want to play into it. And it's just because like you just turn on the radio and it's all over the radio. But go ahead.
I don't want to play into it, but like I want to watch it. I want to see it. I don't want to pay $100.
No, like if somebody else pays for it and invites me over after I go out to the bar to watch it, I'll watch it. Other than that, I'll probably watch highlights of it the day after.
Yeah.
You could probably find a stream of it somewhere.
Oh yeah, probably.
Wasn't a lot of people streaming the Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight?
Whatever happened to that? Like what happened to that one?
Mayweather won, right?
Yeah, it went like 12 rounds and like Mayweather won.
It was decision, I think. I don't think.
See, another thing is that like if you watch a boxing match from like the 70s versus a boxing match now, it's completely different. Like they used to come out and like just start slugging each other and like, but now
it's a lot of defense.
And because the fact is like, okay, does anybody say, all right, make sure that you do a real quick fight, get it done in the first round? Hell no. They're like, draw this out as long as you can.
Sure.
because I've seen boxing matches where I think it was like the last Mike Tyson fight or something like that, where some dude lit him up in like the first round, and it was like, a couple minutes long, and so people paid all this money to watch, 45 seconds or something like that.
Which still happens at UFC, but you just have all those different cards, so it makes it not as bad. All right, well, I was just curious. Before we get into the NFL news, follow us on Twitter, guys. It's the number 4 Horsemen Pod. We're on there. I have not been tweeting. I apologize for that. Still trying to get the other guys to help me out a little bit, but I guess I don't have that much interesting stuff to say. We say it all on here, but I promise I will do better. I will make more effort to get on there and say things. I
wish we could get an intern, to do all the stupid stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All the dumb crap that we just want to show up in our fur coats and crowns, and then get on here and talk. That's all we want to do. Like we need to get to a point where we can just have bitch people just collect our shit, and then it would be fantastic. It would be absolutely fantastic.
Well, if you want to be one of those bitch people, reach out to us.
Yes, absolutely.
4horsemenpod@gmail.com. So go ahead and send me an email, and we can find a spot for you here at the show.
If you just want to get treated like garbage and do all of our shit for us, prepping the show for us, doing social media, wiping our ass, just whatever you can do that we don't want to do.
You'll get the full Papa Pig experience. I'll tell you that much right now.
I was going to say we'll answer all and we'll also answer all your questions that you have. So
absolutely,
it's a very fair trade-off. But with all that being said, let's get into this news. Ian Rappaport just tweeting. I know. So take it for what it is. Bleacher Report, everybody's quoting him on it. Kenneth Dixon is going to be out 4 to 5 months after having a medial meniscus repaired. What do you guys think? I mean, Baltimore's kind of been a crap show anyways. We've talked about how they're probably the most boring team in the NFL. Like, not the worst, but clearly the most boring. How do you feel about this? Who could see an uptick on their fantasy value?
2 running backs that just come to mind, just Terrence West and Danny Woodhead. Now, they were talking about using Danny Woodhead as a wide receiver role, but he could see a lot more carries like what Kenneth Dixon might have been getting. So he may get more carries with that. So I can see an uptick with Danny Woodhead being utilized as the wide receiver and some running back because really nobody's going to take that from him. But Terrence West could be more of the third down back, like a 3-down back in that system, unless they bring in somebody else that could challenge him. But I don't know. He kind of took that job last year, so I think they're happy with him. So I think they're going to continue on.
Sure. Alex, which one of those guys would you want to own?
I mean, I think that you really have to look at Terrence West. He's going to be more of the running back. Woodhead just scares me coming off of an injury himself, and if he goes down, I kind of think that Terrence West has that skill set. I don't think he's as good of a pass catcher as Woodhead, but I would rather have Woodhead because I think the likelihood of Whitehurst, Jesus, Woodhead going down is much higher. And if it were the other way and Terrence West went down, I don't think that all of a sudden Woodhead becomes the primary runner. So I think that his value is just so pass catching that, I mean, in a PPR league, you might be able to get a little more out of them, but in standard leagues, I honestly wouldn't even really be looking at. I keep wanting to say like Lucky Whitehead. I don't even know. There's
Danny
too many
Woodhead?
guys. Danny Woodhead.
You wouldn't even be looking at him at all?
I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. He's so small. He's brittle.
Sure.
I'm just not like.
He's old.
Yeah, I mean, it just.
How old is he, Brent? You know off the top of your head?
30?
I thought he was 31 or 32. But
He looks 15.
yes, with that mustache.
that 15-year-old mustache.
Would you guys try trading for any of these guys with this new news that like Like, would you like try to acquire him at all, or
I would try to send him.
I
wouldn't
sell
want
him.
to acquire. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't be buying. I would be more of a selling. If you've got somebody, this is more like a dynasty situation than anything else. But if you've got them and, you're looking at a team that, is really struggling at that position, you can look to kind of unload him and get a little bit more value than what you would have yesterday.
You're talking about West, that is, right?
Yes, West. I don't think that, honestly, I do not think that Woodhead has a lot of trade value.
I don't know. Go ahead, Van Cleef.
I was just going to say, does anybody know what the average ADP for West now?
I have all three of them.
What is it?
So Terrence West right now is going in the end of the 9th round.
So do you think so how far up do you think he jumps now?
Or
at all?
Kenneth Dixon was going at the beginning of the 9th, so
I think that
in the 9th.
Well, I think that it could probably jump him into 8th because all of a sudden you've got two guys that could have been sharing the load. Now it's just one guy that's really got it. So I think that bumps him up into right around the 8th. It's still too early in my opinion. Like I think that 9th round is probably the right way to go, but I could see him jumping up just a little bit. Somebody saying, I can get a starting running back in the 8th round. I think that's completely plausible.
So I didn't put him in. Go ahead.
Updated projections for Terrence West based on this Kenneth Dixon news actually has him up around the LeGarrette Blount, Mike Gillislee, Jonathan Stewart, Theo Riddick, Duke Johnson kind of range, even more points than Danny Woodhead in PPR leagues.
I think those are legitimate names to be around. I think that Woodhead I think that Blount is the top of that. I think that's the highest one. Yeah, because the touchdowns and things like that. And there's really not a lot around him. The other ones, those guys are kind of playing second fiddle, or there's a couple other guys in there. So I think that there's a little bit of separation between him and the rest of them. But I think that West fits in the Theo Riddicks and things like that. So I think that's about right.
I was going to say I didn't put him in my ADP game, but do you guys know, according to Fantasy Football Calculator, do you know where Danny Woodhead's going right now? Or have a guess?
11.
I was going to say late 10th round.
Into the 7th round.
What?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Never. I would never draft him that high.
So who else is going around there? Do you know?
Yeah. Samaje Perine, Latavius Murray, Kareem Hunt, Rob Kelly.
Wait, Perine's in the 7th all of a sudden?
Mid 7th on this.
Holy shit.
I would still take all those guys ahead of Woodhead.
Well, and you got Fantasy Football Calculator factors in dynasty drafts too, like rookie drafts. So it does drive those guys up a little bit.
But still. I mean, they were when I was looking at ADPs for Perine, he was in the 12th.
Yeah, which is, probably a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
But so the other game that we were going to play tonight, I actually did Danny Woodhead as one of my guys. So I have a few Danny Woodhead stats. Are you guys curious to hear them at all?
Well, absolutely.
Okay. So he's going into his 9th season, playing for his 4th team. In those 9 seasons, he has never rushed for more than 550 yards in a single season.
Huh.
Yeah.
But is being drafted as the 84th overall player. I found that to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Looking into it, though, in 2013 and 2015 were his 2 best seasons by far. He played all 16 games in both of them. In 2013, he had a combined just over 1,000 total yards and 8 touchdowns. And then in 2015, he actually had 80 catches, totaled just under 1,100 yards and had 9 touchdowns. If he could stay healthy, I could see him putting up a similar stat line to that. I don't know if he'll catch the ball 80 times, but I think 60 catches for 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns, I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility.
They are a passing team, so it's not like they're going to be giving him the ball to run. They could pass him, give him volume.
But let's remember that you almost had kind of you had a quarterback that was more into doing dink and dunk passing. Flacco is not the same as Rivers. Flacco likes to bomb it out, and I don't know. I'm I'm just not a lover of the Baltimore offense, so I don't really want to put a whole lot into it. I would rather get a guy like West way down, on the second half of my draft versus honestly overdrafting a guy like Danny Woodhead.
And that's the thing. Danny Woodhead gets overdrafted because you look at those awesome PPR seasons and you're hoping to recreate that. It's really a crapshoot. Let's move on to the next piece of news. Greg Rosenthal said on the Around the NFL podcast that Carlo Hyde could be a surprise cut. Alex, you taking any stock into that?
I think that is if there was any thought of them trading him, I think that really hurt. Yeah. Because if a report's coming out that they could possibly be letting him go, all of a sudden his trade value is just plummeted. Right. So if they had the thought of possibly doing so, I think that just kind of went out the window with this report. So regardless of whether or not they were thinking about releasing him, I think it hurt the chances of them trading him for any decent value.
Brent, would you be looking?
I don't think that they should.
I don't think they will either. Brent, do you think this is an opportunity to maybe buy low on Carlos Hyde?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I would buy up Carlos Hyde if you can, because honestly, he's a really, really good running back when he's healthy.
Yep.
I mean, that's always been his, the bad part about his game is his injuries that he has, but he's always performed real well when he's playing. So I don't know. It's a good opportunity to buy low, especially if they're talking about cutting him or trading him or whatever. I don't see it happening though. I think he's too talented of a back. They're not paying him all that much. They could keep him for another year or two and then try and cut him.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to cut him. Like trade him, I understand, but cut him, like you said, he's not getting paid enough to make that make sense.
Well, and that's like what this news makes me think is that they're not going to trade him. Like, I'd be very surprised if he got traded. Very, very surprised. Well, go ahead. You got something to say. Say it.
I do. I just didn't want to interrupt. Who else do they have? I know they're all talking about this rookie running back, but like he's not ready for the NFL.
Yeah.
But see, who do they have behind him? Mike Davis.
Tim Hightower.
Capri Bibbs.
Oh my God! List off these names, Josh. There's
Joe Williams.
Plethora of
oh my! You're right, guys. My bad. My bad.
You're bad indeed.
49ers are stacked.
Stacked.
If you hear this, buy into all 49er running backs. Draft them in every single draft. All of them.
Every one of them. If you draft, yes. That's exactly where I was going.
All right.
You get a handcuff for Pierre Garçon.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Just asking.
I love
Pierre.
Let's move to the last piece of news that I got. Ron Rivera says that Kelvin Benjamin is quote unquote where he needs to be weight wise. Brent,
after Thanksgiving.
Brent, what do you think?
No.
No, you don't think so? You think it's just Coach Steve like, pumping him up?
I mean, he's probably just taming down the terrible offseason news that's been surrounding him about his weight. I'm sure he's just trying to throw shade at it, but I mean, regardless, he came in overweight, way overweight. He's a big wide receiver in general. It's going to be hard to cut that weight, I would assume, but I have no interest in Kelvin Benjamin this year.
Yeah.
Sure. Van Cleve, didn't you just get rid of those two guys?
Got rid of his ace.
I got rid of both of them.
How happy are you? Are you sad? What did you get for them?
You were hyped on both of them.
Here's the thing. I still like both those players, but the value – so in our league, as we've talked about previously on the show, so we have contracts. And so the contract years, I've had them for multiple years. The price I would have had to pay them I felt was more than what their value was.
Yeah.
And so I still think that they had some value, so I was trying to offset them, and I knew I wasn't going to get a high price on them because nobody in our league is high on them. I finally was able to offset them. It was a low price that I sold it at, but I still offset them because I either had to let them go or trade them, and I want at least something for them. But I still think they're a valuable asset to fantasy football. Kelvin Benjamin is still that number one wide receiver on that team. Whether people think he's fat or not, he can't run. But he's still got to pass the physical. He's still got to come in and wait on that team. The team's still checking that. So I still think that he's going to produce something. That whole team last year was just off. And so I think that he's going to add some value to a team. I don't think he's going to be the huge number one bust out star.
Huge.
Guys, I think that the Panthers are going to have another dreadful season. I feel it. I'm reading up on Cam. He's ready, but I'm not feeling great about him. I'm not feeling great about the wide receiver situation. I think that McCaffrey. I can't even say his name.
You're killing the names tonight, by the way.
I'm so well. Plus, I'm just sad that he went to a team that's not going to be able to utilize him. And I just think McCaffrey's going to, suffer because of a poor offense, and it's going to be a tough season, I think, for the Panthers.
McCaffrey is going to be a couple years out. I think. I really like Christian McCaffrey. You know that we've talked about it. I had the 103. That was who I wanted to draft, but this Panthers just they look like they're gonna suck, like you just said. They look like they're not gonna be good.
They look like, I don't know. They just don't look like they're trying to make the team better. Mm-hmm. Like they've got their guy Cam Newton. They're not. I just don't feel like they're really building around him. Like even like they go out and get a running back, but it's not really a running back that fits their system. Mm-hmm. They go out and get a wide receiver basically just to kind of replace Ted Ginn. Like I'm not even thrilled about their replacement at wide receiver. Like I don't know. I'm just not excited about this team at all.
Well, what you did mention something that thinking about it, it does kind of have some worrisome to it. So Cam Newton, with his surgery that he's had on his shoulder and stuff, and so trying to get back to throwing like that, throwing to him there, and the whole with that injury, plus the Panthers are wanting to kind of change up the scheme. They don't want him to run as much. They want him to kind of throw more, so they're trying to get more weapons around him. But the thing of it is, I see Cam Newton is not going to be as efficient if you don't let him do what Cam does best, which is he does. He can pass, but he can also run. He can extend plays with his legs and stuff. And so, I don't know if you're going to get the maximum out of Cam when you're going to change things up on him and with his shoulder. So that offense, it could be scary this year.
I'm kind of my comparison player is Donovan McNabb. McNabb, first few seasons, he didn't have great weapons around him. Like he didn't have stellar players, but the fact is that his athleticism carried them to, being, competitive almost every single season. Well, they didn't want him to run more and more as time went on. Obviously, they're paying him more money. They're all this kind of stuff. The problem is that if you don't put the players around them, it gets stagnant. And I think that is what's going to happen with the Panthers. I don't think that they have McCaffrey could be a playmaker. I do think that he has an immense amount of talent. I'm wondering if they can utilize it. Wide receiver, I don't think they have a really talented wide receiver. And I think that's going to come to bite them in the ass.
Sure. Well, I guess we'll see how it plays out. So with no further ado, I would like to get into our Name That ADP game. Are you guys down for this game? Are you excited?
Oh yeah.
Super pumped?
Do it.
All right. Let's what?
Don't let us down with you hyping this up that you prepped for the show.
Do I ever let you down? Don't answer
Paul
that.
Richardson.
Listen, we can save the Paul Richardson talk for later.
He's got a stat for that.
Where do you guys think Jordy Nelson's going? By the way, this is all taken off of Fantasy Football Calculator.
37th.
12 team. 37th overall.
You want the round or that number?
Give me the overall.
Overall, at 12 team, you said?
Yep, 12 team standard. So not PPR. Alex said 37th, right?
I'm going 16th overall.
16th.
Sure.
Give me 2.04.
So that is the 16th.
16.
You can't. That's already taken. You can't take that. Which way is it going to be? You can have the 15th or the 17th.
17th.
Wrong answer. He's going 13th overall. So you would have went the other way. You would have got the point on that. So how do you guys feel about that? It's 2 spots after AJ Green, 2 spots before Michael Thomas, or the wide receivers on either side. Do you feel good about taking them that high? That's right at the turn.
Yeah, he did end up as one of the top 5 wide receivers in fantasy football last year.
Coming off an ACL injury where he was out all year.
On an Aaron Rodgers team that loves to throw the ball to Jordy Nelson. Because think about all the wide receivers probably going before him. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham.
He's the 6th receiver off the board.
And that's where we had that's where we had him ranked.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right. I still I can't help but feel like it's just slightly early. But that's where he's going to go. He's going to turn.
I don't mind it because you're guaranteed touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers has to throw touchdown passes. He's going to have his 30 touchdown passes, and 10 of those or more are going to go to Jordy Nelson almost every single year, it seems.
I just keep replaying him dropping that ball in Buffalo.
It's personal. It's personal for you, though.
It's personal.
You said 37th, Alex.
Okay, so I'm warming up. All right, give me a break. Give me a break.
Okay, so you don't just really hate him that much,
No. I'm terrible at the game. Obviously,
he hates him because that's the year I beat him in fantasy football to win the championship.
That was the year I traded him to you, right?
Yep.
Oh, it was a good year. Alshon Jeffrey was 36th, by the way. So I don't know if you it makes you feel any better or worse. But all right, so VC gets the point on that. Next one. Tom Brady. Alex, you start us off. No, Brent, you start us off.
I'm going to go give me 4.09.
Okay. If you could all 3 do the same, either overall ADP or rounded.
We're not the host. You figure it out.
Well, just you guys figured out what I said overall, but you obviously weren't listening.
Overall, the 4.09.
It's fine. I can figure it out. It's 57th, right?
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yes.
See, you've got this.
Okay. Van Cleve, give me yours.
Let's see. I want to go with.
No, it's not. That's
what is it,
oh, you're right. You're right.
45th, right?
Yeah. No, you're right.
I want to go with the 59th overall.
59th overall?
Yeah.
Alex? We got 45th for Brent, 59th.
I'm going to go 60.
60th? Wrong way again.
Damn it. I was going to go 50.
28th.
Overall?
What?
28th. Yeah.
That's a third round.
I trust Fantasy Football Calculator. That's I had to double check it to make sure I was right.
That's idiotic. Why would you waste a pick that early on a quarterback?
Right.
I mean, I understand.
He's 4 spots after Aaron Rodgers, who's clearly the number 1 quarterback. People reach on Aaron Rodgers. The 303 is that pick, is the 28th. So Aaron Rodgers is going right at the end of the 2-3 turn. You see people do that. People will turn on that pick and pick Aaron Rodgers. Do you think that Tom Brady belongs right there with Aaron Rodgers?
No. I think he had a really good season. I don't put him in that category. And I'm sorry, like I just can't justify a quarterback that early.
But see, like I still think that's a quarterback way too early.
Yeah, just period.
Just period. Like even Aaron Rodgers, like it just the value I can get at another position at that
exactly
overall point is just too high for me because the difference between Tom Brady and somebody I can get, a little bit later, I don't feel is that much of a difference.
Yeah,
especially Tom Brady.
Sure, Brent. I think you won that by default. You were 45th, so.
Yep.
Would you like to say anything? Do you feel like Tom Brady should be that high?
No, and neither Aaron Rodgers. Like they're all quarterbacks go too high, and I think it's just name recognition, star power that drives them up there.
Mm-hmm.
People see that quarterbacks score the most points in fantasy football, so they automatically think they should be drafted that high. But the differential between the top end quarterback, mid-range quarterback, and a lower end quarterback is not that significant as opposed to a running back or wide receiver. So.
Sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's not the last quarterback we'll talk about. Next player, Martavis Bryant. VC, I want you to lead us off.
All right. So let me hear the overall. He's got to be going around the 6th round. So that would be.
If you guys want to give me a round and pick, we can do that too. We can switch this game up in the middle of it. I really don't care. I have both of them written down.
I just got to do it into my head, the math in my head. So the 6th round would be, I'll say 77th.
77th? Okay. Alex?
I was going to go 80, so.
Okay. I was going to go 72.
Brent, 72. This was another one that surprised me. 48th. End of the 4th round.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. How is that? Really? Hold on. I don't know.
Come on, people.
Now I'm starting to get a little. No.
We need to start listening to Four Horsemen podcast more, you guys. Come on.
That's all a fantasy football calculator. So
this is getting out of hand.
I think that the hype is real on Martavis Bryant, though.
Do you have some names that are going around the 4th round right now?
Yeah, I can tell you.
Or 4th and or after around that.
So right there, his pick, Tyreek Hill is 1 spot before him. Keenan Allen 2 spots before that. Ty Montgomery is right there. Mike Gillislee's right after him. LeGarrette Blount's 2 more picks after that.
Well, I mean, on here, it has on this Dominator app that I have, they have him at 61 as it says EDP. I don't know why it says EDP, but then also it says rank 56.
Sure.
So I mean,
it's not too far off.
It's not crazy off.
Do you guys
still
think,
way earlier than I would have thought.
Do you think that's too early though? Like I was kind of thinking about the end of the 4th, beginning of the 5th. Is that too early to start thinking about him?
I think it's too early for a boomer bust guy like that. I think that's kind of the problem that I have with drafting somebody that, in those first few rounds, I think you're looking for, some stability. Like, granted, Julio Jones wasn't really stable, but that he's going to get his. With Bryant, he's behind the best wide receiver in football. So I just look at it like, do you really want to draft a guy that high that, could very well go for 200 yards? I mean, that is totally a possibility. Or he could go for 30. And I think that's part of the problem.
Well, and you're talking about a guy who's been off the field for over a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And so and he was nothing. I get that he was a big play guy, and he was a lightning when he played the year prior, but you don't know he's going to be that successful this year. They've added more weapons to that team too. I don't know. I just feel that there's other probably wide receivers you can get around that I feel a little more comfortable with. But I'm always not been high on Martavis Bryant.
Can I throw this out here for you, VC? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going off of the one that I have, so this might be a little bit different from what Romine's got. But you're looking at guys like, okay, Jeffrey, Sanders, Landry, Keenan Allen. Bryant is in that grouping that I have right here. Are there players that you would rather have than Bryant?
The ones you named?
Yeah.
I would like to have all of them. That's just me,
every single one of them.
All the ones you just named ahead of Bryant, yes.
Okay. What about you, Brent?
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I like his immense potential because you've seen him go over 100 yards on a consistent basis when Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger are all on the field. So you love his upside. So I guess I don't mind. I think it's still too early right there at the turn 4th and 5th round, but I still don't want him that high. But the 6th round is where I've been kind of taking him. So it's not completely that far off, but I'd rather wait until the 6th round.
Honestly, like for me, I guess I just kind of feel like he's a 7th rounder. Like he's like one of those high risk, high reward kind of players. I don't want to.
That's the thing, though. I don't think you're gonna be able to get him there, and especially if preseason comes. Say he has one great catch in preseason.
Yeah,
that 4th round, that's solid. That's how it's gonna be.
Yep.
So, I think that you guys probably won't end up with him then. How it sounds.
Nope. I'm okay with that.
It's too. I don't know. It's too bad. Like I like him.
I just feel I can get another right receiver that I feel more comfortable with.
Would you rather have Brandon Marshall? Was he in that list, Alex?
He wasn't in that list. Let me see.
I think he's going.
In my NAP, he's going a little bit later, like a round later.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So that's like the 5th round.
Well, I mean, even okay. I'm going down here. I'm just like about a round later here. You got Fitz. You got Devontae Parker. Deshaun Jackson, you got Devontae Adams, Edelman.
Really?
Yeah,
I think Adams is going quite a bit higher than that.
Well, probably. I mean, I think that Adams is getting way overdrafted.
Well,
yeah, because his the rank on here for Adams is 74th, but his EDP is 48. Yeah. So people are overdrafting him by a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. He's Devontae Adams. That's a whole nother story. But like those other guys you named, like Larry Fitzgerald, I'd rather have him.
Let's see. In his last season, which was 2015, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Martavis Bryant had 3 games over 100 yards, and they were big games over 100 yards. One was 178 yards, one was 137 yards. Other than that, I mean, he had just another game over 50 yards. Everything else has been under 50 yards. I don't know.
It's that high risk, high reward player. He's almost like a better version of Devontae Parker. And would you really draft if Devontae Parker was slightly better? Would you really draft him that high? And the answer is no. So I mean,
people started to at the when he had hype last year in preseason and stuff. People were drafting him that high though.
And don't look at the ADP too much. I actually have Devontae Parker on my list. Did you just cheat and look at it? Because we can jump right to him and do him next. So where do you guys think?
That's on his app, though. He's looking on his app.
Okay.
I'm just looking on my app here.
Sure.
Honestly, for where I could get Devontae Parker, I would rather have Devontae Parker than Martavis Bryant.
Where do you think that Devontae Parker's going? Give me the ADP.
I would think that like middle of 7th round. What would that be? 80. I'll just say 80.
80.
I think I'm gonna say he's going like around 109, 110.
Brent.
Oh man, Van Cleve that late?
Yeah, I'm 9th round.
I was thinking actually mid 7th round also, but I'm gonna go. Give me. You know what? Give me 70.
70th.
Yeah,
he is going 92nd overall. 807. So kind of like what you were saying, Alex. Like, would you rather have that value? You're talking 4 rounds later.
Yeah. Well, and see, I'm even looking at this. Like I'm looking. I wasn't looking at it before, obviously, but like his rank on here is 69th, but his draft position is 94th. So I mean, you're getting essentially a higher value player later on in the draft. I think that the two are very similar as far as what they bring to the field. And I would rather have a guy that I could get later on. If he's going to be a boom or bust guy, I want that boom or bust guy to more or less be a fill-in, not my number 2. Because Bryant, if you're drafting him that early, he's going to be your number 2. And if you're doing a no wide receiver, he's your number 1. That's terrifying.
Well, and I think it's more about like the offenses that these guys are attached to.
Yeah.
Like, Bryant's attached to the Steelers offense, which I think is pretty much all around the board. People say is way better than Miami, like significantly better. So I think that's kind of where you're just gonna have to pay more for it. It's gonna be more expensive. So you're out, Devontae Parker in. So
we're playing Price is Right rules, aren't we?
No, I'm just doing closest. Alex got it regardless of whether it was Price Right or not. So
he cheated, but okay.
He said
I did not.
Alex was 12 spots off on that. He said 80th, but kind of staying attached to that Pittsburgh offense. Where do you guys think Ben Roethlisberger is going?
Wait, hold on. Whoa. What was Devontae Parker's ADP? 97th?
92nd.
Or 92nd?
It's 12 spots away from Alex, and it's 17 spots away for you. So
I thought you said 97th. Okay, all right. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's all right. I know you want to win. You're a very competitive guy.
I like it. I want it.
For what it's worth, Brent is up right now, 2 points to 1-1. So,
well, I mean, he was also 40 spots off. Okay.
All right. So, Van Cleef, you can go last on this. Brent, where do you think that Ben Roethlisberger is going?
I'm going to say 8.09.
Okay.
It's getting into big numbers. Sorry.
Alex, where you got him?
Yeah, I mean it is probably somewhere around the 9th round. So I'm gonna say 110.
110. I think that was 93rd. Brent, check my math on that. And Alex, you said what?
110.
110.
I'm gonna go 88.
88. Oh, You nailed it. It is actually 88th.
Whoa!
Yeah. You hit it.
You get both showcases.
That's what I was going to say. Do I get both showcases now?
You did great. That's the 9th quarterback off the board. The 3rd pick of the 8th round.
That's what I was thinking.
You're saying that 9 quarterbacks are going in the first 8 rounds? That is stupid.
I think that's so pretty realistic, though. If you're drafting,
it's dumb.
If you're not drafting with us,
no, it does make sense just because they get on a quarterback run and stuff. Yeah, unfortunate.
Oh boy!
Oh my
god! Typical BCBS. Unbelievable.
Well,
it's classic.
That's you just
classic.
Stay muted for a minute. We don't want to hear from you. Garage door opening ass, little biatch.
My computer froze or something because I thought his garage door only went up like halfway, like it was broken.
You just hear the pops, like you see the things uncoiling. Oh God! Run, run, VC, run!
Even though we're not going to listen to him talk right now, VC got the point on that. Obviously, hit it head on. So, do you think that Roethlisberger could be a value this year?
Yeah, I mean he's got great weapons around him.
You could say that, but his splits are so terrible. I would not want to draft him until after the 10th round, maybe around Stafford's range, which is it could be later than that. I think
I don't think I'd want him.
He's old. He's terrible away. I mean,
he's hurt all the time.
Yeah.
I think if you draft him, you need to draft another quarterback. Only play Ben Roethlisberger when he's playing at home.
Okay.
Play the other quarterback.
So
away.
Let me play a little game.
I have been as a backup.
These are guys going after him. Would you rather have Jameis Winston or Ben Roethlisberger?
Oh my God, that's not even a question.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
Phillip Rivers. That's where it kind of gets a little dicey.
No.
Dak Prescott.
Dak attack all day. I take
Stafford.
I think
Stafford is, I think I'd still take Stafford. Stafford's another one that's kind of iffy. Like, he's not always terrific outside of home, but
he's going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Alex, would you rather have Ben Roethlisberger or Tyrod Taylor?
Ben Roethlisberger.
You almost had
I'd rather have Ben Roethlisberger on a cart because he tore his ACL.
I mean, that may be where he ends up.
That probably will be. I mean, it's totally possible.
But honestly, like, I think you're getting to like the Eli Mannings, Tyrod Taylor, Andy Dalton, Carson Wentz. I think that's kind of where you think I'd rather have Roethlisberger, and those guys are going in 12th round, 11th round. So
see, I would rather. I mean, okay, outside of Eli, I would rather wait and get some of those quarterbacks because it might be just the homer in me, but I think that Carson Wentz is going to take another step forward. I think that he is on a trajectory that's similar to what Derek Carr has been on if they can get the right pieces around him. So I think that getting somebody like that has, especially if you're in Dynasty, getting somebody that is a little bit younger, even an Andy Dalton, has a good offense around him. Ben is old. We're already hearing the retirement talk. If he gets a concussion, would it be crazy if he was done forever? I don't think it is.
No, I mean, he's already talking about retiring.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he gets a concussion and it's serious enough that it's going to keep him out maybe a game or two, I could totally see him saying, you know what? I've got the rest of my life to live.
Yeah.
I'm done. I can totally see it.
Where's Jameis going? What's his ADP?
He is, like, in this ADP, it's a little – he was going right after 809. So
okay.
94th, which I think is probably pretty accurate. I think that he's going to keep climbing. I think we've talked about this many a times, but
yeah, I didn't know if he was like just around before those like Eli Mannings, Andy Dalton, like in the 10th round. I said
he's like that's 2 rounds before.
That's a way much better value than Ben Roethlisberger, but okay.
Oh heck yeah! Like if you're talking dynasty, I think Roethlisberger is a very late round guy because you're going to get what, another year?
Yeah, and it's going to be a spotty year.
And like Brent said, those home road splits are.
I get it, but he's still going to have a value. But I just wouldn't want him to be my starting quarterback in a 2-quarterback league. I think being your second quarterback, I think he's good. Or your backup. If you can get him as your backup, but you in this way drafting, you're not going to get him as your backup.
Yep. All right, I got 2 more names. Van Cleve and Brent are now tied at 2. Woo. Alex, you got 1, so don't worry, you're not out yet. Where do you guys think? Let's see. Who do I want to go first on this? Alex, tell me where you think Bilal Powell's going.
Probably lower than you should. I'm going to say 120.
120? Van Cleve?
107.
And Brent?
I think he's going way higher, actually. I'm going to go 69.
I like how he just went, yeah.
It's like he's 15. I love it. So he is going 74th. So Brent, good job.
Right.
Wow, you get the point on that. Do you think that's too early though, Brent?
So is that 6th round?
That's 6th round, last pick of 6th round.
I do think it's a little early because you still don't know even who the starting running back is there anymore. Like Matt Forte is still there. They're talking about giving him a workload again this year, but at the same time, Bilal Powell, he actually showed that he could actually take on a full workload at the end of last season, but he's also getting kind of older too. He's, I think, 29 this season too, which kind of came out of nowhere.
Weird.
But,
yeah.
So he might still have some fresh legs. I like where, I don't know. I wish I could get him later. I probably won't own him because he's going way too high.
What was it? I totally missed what the ADP was?
74th.
Oh, geez, wow.
So, yeah, he's 28. He'll be 29 this year.
Okay.
So Matt Forte is only a few years older.
I think that you're probably going to see something similar to what happened last year. I think they're going to roll out Forte. He's going to have a couple of really good games, and age is going to catch up to him. And I think that then Powell will have a decent second half of the season.
I was going to say, yeah, like Matt Forte and Larry Fitzgerald have very similar seasons these last couple of years where they start out real hot because they're so fresh, but they're so old that they fade really bad.
Yeah.
So something to keep in mind when you're drafting and maybe looking for other options for younger options.
I think when you think Bilal Powell, you're like, well, that could be the future. But like you said, he's
not.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
So don't buy, like, I would just, like, speaking word of advice, I would not buy into that. You know what I mean? Like, I think the Bilal Powell is going to be good this year. I think that he'll probably be more valuable than Matt Forte. In my opinion, I think that he'll probably end up scoring more fantasy points once, like, the whole season's done and over with. But don't buy into the fact that you think you're buying a future starter, because I could just as easily see him whenever his contract's up, which I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I could see the Jets moving on from that completely.
Well, there were rumors that the Jets would take Fournette in the NFL draft this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're clearly looking at running backs too. So maybe next year there's still supposed to be good running backs coming out of that class. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now, Brent, you were in the lead, 3-2-1. Alex, bring up the rear. You're out of the game. So you might as well not even play this one. This is the last one I got. Where do you guys think Adrian Peterson's going? Alex, since you're out of it, why don't you go first?
I think that name recognition still holds something. I'm going to say he's going at 50.
50th? Brent?
Give me 74.
74? Okay.
Give me 92nd. 92nd.
DC is 92nd. Alex, good job. He is going 44th overall.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Mid-4th round.
Way too much name recognition, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I was basing it off of, because I've seen things where he's just going way too high. I mean, like, I will say this, is that we are only 2 seasons removed from him being the rushing leader.
Right.
Okay. So, but having said that, Maurice Jones-Drew did the exact same thing. He was the rushing champion. He had a rough next season. I mean, he played more than 2 games, but it was a rough season after that. See, the next season, he was dreadful. So, I mean it's possible that it's
MJD and Adrian Peterson are 2 completely different players.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Like, I don't know. Van Cleve, you're clearly upset about this.
But what I don't get is, I get Adrian Peterson is 2 years removed from that, but we're also talking that Mark Ingram is still there. And then they drafted – well, not even that, but just the competition. But also that team that doesn't run the ball. Like it's a passing team. It's hard for me to kind of see where they're going to because Adrian Peterson is most effective when the quarterback is under center. I want to see the stat comparisons where Drew Brees is in the shotgun versus under the center.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I just don't think that he is going to produce in the 4th round numbers.
Well, and the thing is that team,
no way.
When they ran the ball last year, they sucked. Like, legitimately, like, when they focused on the run, they lost games. And I think that when they go back and they look at things, I think they're going to realize, you know what, we need to put the ball in Breeze's hands. Like, our running game just isn't that good, regardless of who's there.
Breeze is getting older though. Like,
well, but you also have a 31-year-old running back. So I mean, it's not like he's old, but so is your running back. I don't know.
Sure, I don't know. I think it's crazy. If somebody's taken Adrian Peterson 44th overall in your draft, smile. Let them take him all day, because it's gonna make those other players around him that much more valuable. So, Alex, you actually did decent. You tied with Van Cleve. So, Brent, you're the champion of Name That ADP.
Name
Thank you.
ADP. All right. Well, there we go.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Wait.
Wait, wrap that up, Romine.
Did Romine?
We lost him.
I think we lost him. Oh man.
Oh,
gosh.
poor Romine. What a host. What a host.
I know. That's the kind of stuff that we come to expect from Romine. There he is.
Oh, hey, Romine.
I'm listening.
He's back.
Okay.
He's back.
I just couldn't talk. Like, I don't know what was happening. I guess that's what happens when you do podcasts on Google Hangout. You just got to take the good with the bad sometimes. So, I don't know what I said. I know that I was talking about wrapping the show up, and then you guys made fun of me because clearly I cut out. Next week, we're going to play a game called Guess Who. Are you guys going to be able to actually get the information together?
Hey. Guess who? This wide receiver is a pile of garbage. He falls asleep very easily. Who am I?
He falls asleep very easily?
He falls
Michael
asleep.
Floyd. Michael Floyd.
Got it.
Yes. Point. You should have got an early point.
I don't know if he falls asleep easily. He clearly needs the enhancement of alcohol to do so.
Well, all I'm saying is that he fell asleep while driving. I mean, I've gotten sleepy at the wheel before, but
I've gotten very sleepy at the wheel. Do you guys just want? I did mine already. I'll do new ones next week. Do you want me to give you an example and have you guys guess?
Give us one.
I'll give you one. Coming into his 7th season, this wide receiver has increased both receptions and receiving yards every year for the last 5 years. One stat. I have 2 stats. He is also considered the top option in his offense. This player is currently being drafted as the 26th overall player. Who am I?
Demaryius Thomas.
Very good guess. It's incorrect, so you guys can keep guessing.
I don't know if he's been around for 7 seasons though.
Who?
Baldwin?
Ding, 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 ding.
Boom!
Doug Baldwin.
Oh,
good guess. What was your guess, Van Cleve?
I don't know. I didn't have one.
You didn't have a guess at all?
No.
Was it
James Baldwin?
James Winston. Rob Kelly.
Kelvin Benjamin?
7 years?
Yes. We didn't say fatter every season. But anyways, that's kind of how I envision the game going. So now you guys have something to go off of. That will be a little teaser for the next episode. I think it will be fun. I hope that you guys actually look into it and get some pretty funny stats.
Get some good ones. I'm going to get some great stats.
We're all
going to somehow make fun of you.
I love it. I welcome it. So I can't wait to hear the 3 players that you're going to choose. But we appreciate you guys stopping out, listening to us. Pay attention. Next week's episode is going to be a good one. Follow us on Twitter, 4horsemenpod. Send us emails. If you want to be an intern, send it to us, 4horsemenpod@gmail.com. We'll be taking applications.
Unpaid intern.
I got a koozie that has your name on it.
You'll be paid in koozies.
But we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.